Dan Rothenberg and Joe Klosik, two guys trying to figure it out. Not the right wing, not the brosphere. Left of center, with humor and empathy.
Hello, and
Welcome
to the Splain.
The Splain.
Oh my God!
As I'm kind of wiping off my nose.
You got
as if I was doing
allergy.
coke.
Oh
No.
Oh wow! This took a turn
Just
right off the bat.
General, just happened then.
Okay.
Like and subscribe to
Who wouldn't want to like and subscribe after that
podcast.
intro? Yeah. As Dan does a bump off his forearm.
Where we here on the Splain, where we just break it all down. We talk to up and coming comedians and established comedians as we have today. So yeah, like and subscribe if you like what we're doing. You know what? I don't mean to. We have gotten a few comments.
Oh, I haven't even looked yet.
No, I thought you said we did.
Oh, well, those
from
were
before.
Those were good ones.
Oh, those were good ones?
Yeah, no one cares about the good ones.
We can't talk about good ones? We got good ones?
Well, they're mostly from my girlfriend.
What are the bad ones?
The bad ones are weird, Torio.
Weird.
Oh,
we're in that weird bad phase.
I'll tell you what, I'll do my best to get you some new bad comments.
You know what? We'll take that. It all engages the algorithm.
Let's do it.
Hey.
Yeah. Anyway, let's say hello to Torio Van Grol.
Let's say hello to Torio. We'll
Sorry,
talk
I
about
shouldn't have
comments.
been interrupting your intro.
Next
That was very
No, it
unprofessional.
wasn't really going
There
well.
is no intro.
Yeah. This is the intro.
Mhm.
So Torio, man, I met you. I was thinking about this the other day. It's got to be 15 years.
2012, whatever that is. Yeah,
Oh,
14.
God, it's even worse
Yeah.
than that. Yeah.
Wow,
And,
have
you
I
know-
been out of it for a long time?
Well,
Mhm.
I mean, here's the sadder part: is Torio's another comic that I met as I was on my downward path in
Mhm.
addiction.
We seem to have a theme here. So you started after I was done with comedy and
Yeah.
when Joe was on his way down to his addiction bottom.
Yeah.
Well, Joe was sober when I met him. You were in a little sober window,
Oh, that's
and
right.
then you became unsober at some point.
Mhm.
It's very diplomatic of you.
What
to put it
made
that
you
way.
say that? How did you know Joe was unsober?
Just vibes.
That's
I was
nice.
just like, I feel like you might not be sober anymore.
Maybe showing up in a state where you're like, yeah, don't go up tonight, Joe.
Yeah, or I'm gonna go hit the liquor store. I have time before my set. Yeah, that was a cool move. I love that.
Seriously?
Oh,
You
yeah.
hit the liquor
Well,
store?
Yeah.
Well, are we
Didn't
talking?
get a drink.
Yeah.
Couldn't get
Well,
a
because
drink.
do you
through a
remember
bar, or-
222 Hyde or the setup or whatever?
Yeah.
Beer and wine only.
Yeah.
Which
Mhm.
wasn't enough for you, I guess.
No, come on. What are we, amateurs?
Yeah.
I'm going to go up and perform without a couple of shots of...
Yeah.
I'm picturing you in a trench coat, kind of a Dennis Hopper from Hoosiers,
Okay.
going up in the middle of someone's. Did you get in there?
No, it was
Miss the
never.
foul.
It was, that's not entirely inaccurate.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was bad. It was, yeah. Anyway, I didn't realize this was going to be like relive some of my worst moments, but
They're not. They're great. You know what? I love you, Joe, because you do it. You do it all the way.
yeah, I did.
I
did.
You have stories. It's like
yeah.
Greg Proops said about people that smoke pot have the boring stories. I want to hear your story about outrunning the cops over the Golden Gate Bridge.
Mhm.
Whatever. I'm
No, I
paraphrasing.
have that story. Anyway,
Anyway. Torio, welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I thought this isn't what the podcast is, Joe. We don't just shit on you for an hour.
well, yeah, I guess it is. I mean, last week Dan told me I was the smartest uneducated person he knew, and it's now it's like, hey,
It's a compliment.
it's
What is?
Don't you think? He's a really
Yeah.
smart. How do you define uneducated? You haven't been
Dumb-
educated.
You're
and
the
you're so
dumbest
smart.
idiot I
That
know.
is, no, that's a total compliment. You have not. I mean, you haven't been to college. I don't. It's a location thing. It's a.
Yeah, it's a location thing.
Yes, you have not attended.
I have not
Torio,
attended.
welcome.
Thank you.
So,
how long? So, do you remember, Torio, the first time you got on stage and you were introduced as a stand-up? Where was it? What was it like?
First time on stage would have been, I mean, on stage, and not there was no stage, but in college. So before I really started, I went to a poetry open mic and told jokes. Well, it was like an open mic, but most of the people were reading poems. But me and a buddy did comedy, and then I said, "Well, I don't want to do this," and I don't think I did that for 3 or 4 more years.
Wow.
And then went through a breakup, you know, and was like, I was sad about it, and I was like, this is the second time I had like been sad after a breakup, and I was like, I don't want it to be like last time. I gotta like do something to stay busy. So I drove to a Thai restaurant in Fresno,
as one does.
As one does, because at the time I was living up in that Yosemite area, which you might remember.
That's right. Yeah.
And I did the open mic there, and that actually that little space in Fresno that I did my first 6, 7, 8 mic shows at was really cool. It was fun, and then I moved back to San Francisco and started comedy there. That was a long answer to your question.
No, that was perfect.
Quick jump in. What were you doing with your life in Yosemite?
Yeah, see, Torio, this is how he starts. Yeah.
I don't know how interesting it is. I went to college in the Bay, and then after the Bay, I didn't know what to do. So I went to my buddy that I went to college with was like running a resort, or like the food and beverage side of the resort. And I had only bartended and been a waiter. So I went up there and bartended. Supposed to be for the summer, but then met that girl, stayed a little longer. I was up there a little longer than a year, and then I was like, okay, time to get back to the real world. As nice as Yosemite was, but
you were booking a pretty successful show up there for a while too, though, because I remember going up there a couple of times.
Yeah, I think that's when we met.
Was that the first time we met?
I think so.
Yeah. Wow.
And then yeah, it was a fun show. I ended up booking that show. They still do that show. It's a cool little. It's on the lake resort show. They stopped for a while. I came back. And then after COVID, I was like, that's a good place to go. So I started doing it again, and then handed it off to another comedian. But yeah, it's fun.
Were you from San Francisco before Yosemite?
I grew up in San Diego, and then went to college in the Bay, and then Yosemite for a quick stop, and then moved to the city, San Francisco, 2013.
For comedy? Was that
for comedy? Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
One of the things that I think impresses me about you is you also are a pretty good producer. Like, you early on started putting together shows, and unlike a lot of other producers, you were getting people out. Like, you figured out some kind of magic, some algorithm or some partnership with, you always had somebody you were working with, or some other organization you were working with, and you got people to shows, even when, and people are going to think I'm exaggerating, even when it was in the back of a restaurant off of Mission Street, and you had to go down a trap door to get to the actual venue. There were people down there.
That was a fun show, man. It was like down a ladder.
Yeah.
And we'd have people that would buy tickets and then get there and be like, I'm not going down there. And I'd be like, fair enough. Fair enough. That was very illegal. We got shut down, but it was like a solid 4 or 5 months of some pretty fun shows in the back of a pierogi restaurant.
That's what it was. Yeah.
Why did that exist?
Wow. That sounds really fun.
Very
LA.
I wasn't
Secret
a great
place.
I just like a lucky producer, because it was always like I just had cool spaces for whatever reason, the door open. But I was never, and I would book, I think, just my friends who were funny, but I was never good at promote. Like I wouldn't
really
hand up. I was never good at like I couldn't like I would never bark outside. I would never produce,
Mhm.
you know, I wouldn't promote, but I think the spaces were just cool or already had a following of some kind.
Hmm.
Um, like with that Bass Lake show or my Sonoma show or then that pierogi store. I don't know. Yeah, it was just kind of dumb luck.
That's
Well, what is it
interesting.
you do?
I'm
There's probably something you do without thinking about it. Sometimes we're good at stuff that just
I mean, I
come
wasn't a
natural.
hustler on the producing side. I think the shows were just good. I think um my friends were down to do weird shows for a little bit of money because you know they
Mhm.
never paid well. I think I would host them all, so that was you know I wasn't a shitty host. There's so many terrible hosts that are producers, so
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. But it was never.
That's true.
I was bad at like policing the show or telling. I just let people. I let the show just kind of run itself, and it always worked out
Yeah. I would
until it
agree with
didn't.
that.
Until they got shut down.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean
Yeah.
that one was wildly illegal, but
Mhm.
it was great. I mean, I think your shows. I think you're not giving yourself enough credit, because it seemed like you were always partnering with like Lyft, or you would get your tickets on some sort of website. I mean, people would know. Not okay, all right. Maybe
I
I'm.
never partnered with Lyft. I wish.
Didn't you like what Uber or Lyft or no? Did
No.
Could that have happened without your knowledge?
Probably.
Because you
I
just,
always,
you
you know,
just,
that's the other thing is I had other producers. Maybe they were doing the good stuff because we had remember Lost Weekend Video too. We
yeah,
had a
yeah,
show
yeah,
there.
yeah, yeah,
That was a rad show.
yeah.
Yeah.
so was comedy picking up then? What was comedy like, Joe, then compared to
Well, one of the
for
I think the
us?
biggest difference, Stan, that between our era and then the era that Torio was coming up in, and especially post COVID, there was so many more independently produced shows that were quality. It wasn't just
Mhm.
like, hey, I'm going to put a microphone in the back of a room somewhere or the
Yeah,
corner of a bar. It
as
was
a
like,
way for us to just get some stage
yeah,
time. It was
yeah,
all an open mic.
this was like paid audience that wanted to see something. They had an expectation of comedy, and then you would see like, yeah, the up and comers in the San Francisco scene. And I was always impressed that the audience was usually like pretty good. Like they showed up with an expectation to see something, and
Mhm.
we delivered. So I think Tori, I don't know how you're remembering it, but I think you were one of the better producers, on the scene at the time.
Yeah, there were a lot of good shows. I mean, there were more good shows in that when I started up till 2020 than now even.
Yeah,
I think
I would
post
agree.
COVID so much is shut down, but yeah, that was kind of the glory years of I mean, even talking to people that were in the scene just before that window and even now, it seems like that kind of 5-year period from 2015 to 2020 was kind of the I
Hmm.
mean, everyone I know in LA, New York, it's like, oh, people would pay money, lose money to go to San Francisco just to get that much quality stage time.
It's true. Yeah,
Um,
that's true. Yeah. Yeah,
and
because there was
Wow.
always like one or two people from LA that were on these shows,
mhm,
and I would get chatting with them, and yeah, they were just coming up for the stage time.
yeah. And that,
Hmm.
yeah, and then that was also when those kinds of shows started to pay. I think when I first started, you were just doing all those shows for free, and then by the time 2018, 2019, 2020 comes around, it's like, oh, I can actually pay some bills with this, and so yeah, it was a pretty great time to come up. Good
It's
scene to
it
start in.
it seems rare to me that because I mean, either either shows like that, the producer is either really really good at producing, or they have no clue what they're doing on that end, but they are really really talented as a comedian. And it
Yeah,
seems like you actually were doing both. Like you were actually working on figuring out who you were developing quality material, you were getting really consistent. And I think some of it was because, yeah, you were producing these shows with a real audience, and you had other real comics. But do you have a sense, like personally, do you look back and you feel like, yeah, you know what? I was holding my own and I was growing as an artist?
yeah. I mean, I don't, this is the first time I've thought about it. I think when you're in it, you're not thinking about it. You're just like, you're just doing it. I never, and people hate me for this. I never like, I didn't do many open mics when I started. Like even those first few shows in Fresno were book shows, but like they, there was always an audience. And so I felt like when I got to the city, that was important for me to book those shows so that I had a real audience,
Hmm.
because I hated and still hate, I hate performing for people, I hate performing for, and especially comedians. So yeah, to me, stage time for an audience was, yeah, it was like, not only did it feel better, but it was like, yeah, this is, if I'm taking a step back, that's how you get better. These open
And
mics
what
are good
about the
too for,
road? Do you guys do the
yeah,
road? Do
yeah, I do.
comedians do that still? Like make your money on the road?
Well, that's something I really would like to get into with Torio, because again, you're doing something that I think a lot of comedians aspire to do, and we're not doing it well. You have spent a considerable amount of time developing an audience on social media, and you're going out and booking yourself in various spots, right? So you're not just doing the road blindly, like I would, like, yeah, I'll take that gig and go, and, yeah, I might get some money, but no one's coming to see me. But you actually have cultivated an audience.
Yeah, I mean, social media has made it easier for sure. But yeah, I mean, I'm doing the same thing you're doing. I'm saying yes to everything and just going wherever I can. It's tough. I mean, you think, oh, now I have this many followers, or I sold this many tickets this year, that's gonna snowball and get more and more. But it's like, I'm lazy. Like, that's why I do comedy, is like, I wanted to be, just have this fun, lazy gig. And you're learning with social media that it's like, it's very much the type A people. It's the people that record every set. Um, the uncool people are really crushing it right now.
Hmm.
Not that I'm cool, but like, I at least try to act, I'm like, I'm not gonna tape this one, look, there's no crowd or whatever. So it's tough because, where I was 2 years ago, as far as how many tickets I sold, not as many as this year. So it's like, I'm very much taking a step back and like, okay, it's time to regroup, write more, record more. Because yeah, the algorithm needs new material every week if you want to keep growing your audience. Something I probably should have known but didn't, is that like, audiences don't want to come back and see the same jokes. You need a new hour every year. Um, so yeah, it's a
Wow.
every time you feel like you level up, it's like there's just more work. And
Wow. Yeah.
but yeah,
How,
it's just,
sorry, how long are you online every day, just to like continue to grow this audience, upload clips, interact with people? Like, how much effort goes into it on the daily, do you think?
I mean, it's tough to say because how much time I'm on social media versus being productive on social media is very different.
True. Yeah.
I go through windows where it's like, all right, I'm gonna post twice a week and then I'll stop because I'm just out of content. And then you start to wonder, because I just post clips, stand up, right? Because I don't, these front facing, talking to the camera clips. It's like, if you start to do that, then the algorithm doesn't show your stand up stuff. So I'm like, I don't want to do that. So it's a lot of reposting clips. I mean, is this what you want to talk about? Like the ins and outs of,
Yeah. A little. I mean, because I think this is where
We want to know what it's like to be successful. That's really where Joe and I are always going. So how do you do that?
Well, I mean, here's the thing that's fascinating to me, Torio, is, just, it's easy to talk about what it was like back in the day when Dan and I were comics.
yeah,
But what I think is also really amazing is just in the last 10 years, what you have to do to be a stand-up on the road, it's really changed. And it's clear that it's social media, but it's also fascinating to hear everyone talk like, I don't know what the silver bullet is. Right. And I'm always curious, like, how much time do you spend actually being productive, growing an audience? Because it seems to me like being a stand-up comedian now is less about being on stage, and it's more about all of this other stuff that you're doing. You're a marketer. You're a marketer. You're a film editor. Uh,
And
it's
you should
crazy.
be.
Yeah.
I would say when Joe and I were young, when we started, you talk about being cool, all we had was being cool. There was no
Right.
the ability to walk into the punch and know that, yeah, people are kind of looking at you and you're going to go up. That's all we had, because there was no
Right.
landscape for
Yeah.
any type of actual success. There was no business model yet.
Yeah, I mean it's weird because you can very easily say, oh, so the algorithm is crazy, right? And it picks some people are lucky and some people are not. But I always look at like, the people that are doing it the right way. I think of like Emily Catalano, Craig Conant, Steph Tollov. I use those three as my examples. Like, they're putting out great comedy every week on social media, and then guess what else they're doing? They're selling out every show they do. So,
Who are these people? San Francisco people? Or
no, they live in LA, Netflix specials,
okay,
big names
okay,
in the
kind of
comedy
big
world,
names.
right?
Got
But they're not like they're not big, they're not household names. But like, I guess the point I was trying to make is like you can act like, oh, I don't know, kind of what Joe was saying, like, well, what's the blueprint now? And it's like, well, it still is just be funny, but it's producing, it's putting that content up. You have to be smart about it. Um, you know, so I don't know. I mean, there's pros and cons, because you can look like, well, social media is this evil thing, but it's also like, well, now we're not trying to just please 3 or 4 gatekeepers, right? Like, we can go straight to the fans. Yeah, I don't know. What was the question?
Do you have a day job? That's the question. Do you have a day job?
That is the question, huh?
I
Yeah.
don't have a day job, but I am poor. So I'm right.
Okay.
I'm right. There's a reason I'm cat sitting at this nice place.
Right.
I'm like,
But it's
okay,
all
yeah, I can get.
but it's all hanging on comedy.
Yeah.
You're
Well, I mean,
okay.
in social media pays.
Yeah,
So,
that's true too. Yeah. Yeah.
you get a nice meta check. That's it. That's a car bill. That's an insurance payment. So, um, yeah, I mean, I'd say overall social media's helped comedians. I think it's really negatively impacted everyone else. But, um,
yeah, it's just
Yeah.
fascinating how much it's become important, because I feel
Yeah.
like there's a lot of times I'm watching comedians and they're not performing for the people in the room. They're performing to get a
Yeah.
clip to load up for their fans. And, there's something about that I find, I'm not judging them. I get it. But I find it
You're judging them.
odd.
I'm judging them. We're all judging them.
Well, I mean, I'm not judging them for what they're doing, because I get it. But
it's a
it's
bummer.
weird. It's a bummer. It's a bummer, because it's like,
Yeah,
what about the
yeah.
people in front of you right now?
Mhm.
And then it's
You're
also
missing
been,
that live theater performance.
Yeah,
of
yeah.
It's us and you and what might happen.
And sometimes that still comes together. I mean, I'm sure when you've been in front of a sold out audience, right? Your people, they paid
Yeah.
tickets to come see you,
Yeah.
and it's clicking. You got that magic, right? Like, are you still feeling that? Let me ask you that. Let's go into the artistic part of this. Do you still get that thrill?
Yeah, and I think that's why the road is so people used to hate on the road, but it's like now the road's the only time that happens. I feel like in LA, yeah, you're doing showcase sets, right? 10, 15-minute sets, everyone on the lineup, you have 5 tripods in the back and everyone's got their cameras up, and maybe there's industry there, whatever. So there's always this, I got to get the crowd work. Someone's like, I haven't done a crowd work. So you have 4 or 5 comics doing the same crowd work. Yeah, I mean, that's exhausting and a bummer, but the road still feels, I think that makes you like the road more, because it's like, okay, so now I am
It's a show.
performing for real people.
Yeah.
Whereas the LA crowds are, they're all comedy fans at this point, and it's weird.
What does the road
Go ahead,
look
Dan.
like for you? Sorry to interrupt. Is it clubs, one-nighters, theaters you're booking? What is the road?
it's a lot of off night, one nighters at clubs. I've tried, I've done the like rent a theater and put it all on. I just don't have that following where it's like I just I can't get 150 people out without a club producing still. And when I say theaters, I mean like the smaller ones, the 60 to 150 theaters. A lot of comics do that. They'll rent them out. They'll be like, I'm gonna put all, that way because I get all the door if I'm paying the $400 rental or whatever. But then it really is all on you to get people out.
So
Which
are we
is just hard.
talking Roosters, Tommy T's, that kind of stuff? What?
I love Roosters. I haven't been there in a minute. So my next trip is to, I don't have much on the calendar right now, but like I'm going to Dallas on a Thursday, doing their club Thursday, then shooting down to Austin, doing the small club there on Saturday. So I'm very much the low tier guy. I don't
But
have
headlining. You're headlining.
Yeah, if I can. Yeah, but it is tough because you don't want to you just don't. I'm just at a point where it's just like I just don't know. Like I'm going to Austin for the first time. I don't know if I'm going to sell any tickets. With all that's I'm going to be the mothership's there, right? So it's like you're no matter what night you're there, you're competing against one of the most popular clubs in the country. So in those comics, so yeah, it's a lot of questions. It's a lot of just hoping.
Yeah, so that hasn't changed.
No, that thing's fair.
Yeah. I mean, that hasn't changed. Let me ask you this: what is something you really wish you would have known before you went down to LA?
I think I came down here just with such a negative attitude about it because in San Francisco you visit it. I think it's just it's just like anything. It's not gonna be quick. You just gotta. It's gonna take time.
Right.
I think I just wished I could. I mean, I don't know if there's anything I wish I knew other than just like don't get angry at yourself and other people. Just wait it out. Hang out at the club you want to get in at. And just don't. You can't. It's not beneficial to be like, oh, this guy sucks and I hate him because I think that's what the big thing is. Like, there's so many people that hate here for the right reasons, like pedophilia and just being monster people. I think I'm talking about, but you don't need to hate on people just because they're further ahead of you, but not as funny. I mean, what's the point? It's not going to help anyone.
That's a very mature attitude.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Joe.
And you feel like a part of the difficulty I had when I went to LA was I didn't have enough of that energy in the tank to kind of start over and just go to the improv, hang out. People might be getting on that you think you're funnier than, you just waiting it out. Like I did it somehow in San Francisco. You remember, Joe, I did it at the Punchline in Cobb's. I just started from the bottom and did what I had to do, and I wasn't really resentful about it. Then in LA, I was worn out by the time I got to LA.
I waited even longer to go, but I think it's a disservice you do yourself, because if you're a big fish in a small pond and the longer you enjoy that, the harder it's going to be when you go to LA, because guys like Greg Barrett told me it's going to be starting over. And even though a guy like Barrett is giving me that advice, in my head, I'm still like, yeah, but I'm doing pretty good in San Francisco. That's going to mean something. It didn't really translate. It was still like, yeah, get in the back of the line and wait to go up. But I think Torio's advice is right. Just like you can't, if you end up resenting people, there's plenty of reasons to resent people, and then you're going to get stuck in that trap. You got passed at the Comedy Store, right? Like that whole experience of being a doorman, and then what was that like? Can you talk us through what that whole thing was? Sorry to re-traumatize you.
Well, so I moved down here January 2020, so weird time, right? So I remember, when you get here, I don't know how it was for you guys, but it's like, I'm not going to use all my favors right away. I'm going to ease into it, find a day job, get settled, and then whatever. And then the world ended. And
COVID.
so then when COVID came, when I came out of COVID, there was kind of this opportunity to be a door guy. So I think it was more, I became a door guy in 2022. So not right away, but, and that was, I don't know how much you know about the quick summation
Yeah,
of it is
take us through it.
the, comics run, every job at the club is comics except for like managers and waiters. And so, yeah, you're just, you're checking people in, you're watching a bunch of comedy, it's a cool way to get to know the comics, because they got to check in with you and you're like, oh, hey, Chris Rock. Yep. Gotcha. Whatever. And then I did that for 2 years. The first year was very fun and exciting, right? You're meeting people. I mean, that's one of those things too. Like when people say, "Oh, it sucks to start over in LA," I think one thing I wish I knew, or something I would tell the people doing it, is like, yeah, but find the people that are funny that you like that are also suffering, because suffering together, and that's what all the door guys are doing. They're all suffering together. Not only makes you great friends, but it makes you feel safer in this crazy comedy space. It's like, you have this group to complain to rely on, ask the questions. You're all helping each other, not just work or cover shifts, but like you're helping each other get stage time outside of the club. And then part of the reason you work there is because you get stage time at the club, and then hopefully you get passed as a paid regular, which happened for me, I guess, in 2024. And and now I get a couple spots a week, and it's nothing more valuable than having a home club in LA where you have steady stage time. I mean, because if otherwise, you're looking at in San Francisco, you're never looking at your calendar and being like, I have no sets this week. I mean, if that can happen very easily in LA, and then it can snowball and pile up, and you're like, how am I performing once this month or whatever? So, having a club, couple spots a week that you can depend on that pay, huge.
Why'd you pick the Comedy Store? Because I feel like one of the things about LA, and tell me if I'm wrong about this, is you do pick, which club you're going to basically hang out at and try to get into. Was there a reason why you picked the Comedy Store?
The Comedy Store is just the best one. It's got the most stage time. You got 3 rooms, right? So there's a very clear path. The door guys at the Improv don't get stage time right away. You got to like earn that. Laugh Factory, I think, is 1 room. The Comedy Store is the coolest one. It's the easiest to hang out at as a comic. There's the Belly Room, so you have it has the most open mics, 3 open mics a week, so it's just the most convenient. It's also just, getting past, so I got passed at the Improv. It's just different, it's you send your avails in, but it's not I don't know. There's
it really
more
seems like it's the place to be.
There's more stage time for people that aren't selling tickets. You know what I mean? Where the Improv, it's like, we got to fill these rooms, and the bigger names do that. But
when I was in LA, the Improv was more of the place to be, and the store was still in that phase where it was kind of weird. The inmates were running the asylum, and at least no one talked about it. The store was, if I'm getting this right, like, I think Chocolate Sundays, if I'm getting that right, was really taking advantage of the store, that kind of angle. But
yeah, I mean, Chocolate Sundays now is at the Laugh Factory. I don't know if it was at the store back then. So yeah,
I think it was back. The point is, it was kind of like it was the store when you could see Richard Pryor in a wheelchair, and Dice might be there, but I think it was in a transition period.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard of the dark ages of the store, so that definitely exists. And I wasn't even at the store pre-COVID, which is like that Rogan, Kill Tony, Hinchcliffe era. So I think just like any comedy scene, I think the store has its own little kind of eras, and we're now on the second booker there since I've been there. So yeah, things change, and you just hope you're on the lineup the next week. And
Yeah, some things never change. Amen about that.
Speaking of Kill Tony and Rogan, what do you think of that brand of comedy?
I don't know. It's like they're very successful. It's not my style, but people love it. Boy, do people love it. So yeah, I don't know. I think Kill Tony kind of was going on the same time as when Roast Battle was really big. And I just like, as much as I love shitting on my friends, I just never was, as far as comedy went, I've never roasted. Kill Tony is like, we roast these newer comics, or build them up too. But yeah, it's never just, it's kind of just one of those things where, like we were talking about earlier, it's like you don't think about it when you're in it. You're just so focused on doing your own thing, writing your own set, making it better, that I just never, I don't, I've never watched an episode of Kill Tony. I've never watched a Rogan episode. I just catch some clips here and there to know enough about what it is, and to know that, I wasn't in LA when, by the time I got to LA, not that I was above it, but like I just wasn't about writing 1 minute sets, and plus Kill Tony had left. So yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to answer that question without really saying anything, and I think I've nailed it.
I think you nailed it, buddy. Yeah, very diplomatic.
I would say, the way I reconcile myself with that, like I am not a fan of that comedy. I don't want to get all into it, but one thing you've got to give them is they have probably worked very hard to build that. And maybe there was a time it wasn't. It's easy to criticize something once it catches on. Maybe there was some resiliency, and to get to where they are, and at least I can take that and apply it to my life. Like you gotta work hard, you gotta market, you gotta commit to what you're doing.
Yeah, I think the Kill Tony model for a show is brilliant. I mean, it's, how do you find a way to make a stand-up show a successful podcast? And they did it, right? I mean, it's not just stand-up comedy. It's talking about comedy. You're making casual comedy fans comedy nerds. It's just
why aren't we doing that, Joe? Should we?
Well, because we have critical thinking skills, empathy, and that's garbage.
Yeah.
Right. I'll be the one to say it. I'll be. I mean, I am. I mean, there's a whole social political component to it. When Mark Maron says liberals basically, pushed annoyed the country,
the public into fascism.
I mean, I think Kill Tony was one of these things that pushed back, right? Like, hey, we got to think about everyone. We got to worry about everyone. And then, yeah, it's easy to market just unrestrained, immature hatred. And,
the content, I'm agree. The content of it, of course, I agree. I just mean, you can always look and go, well,
I know.
What can I take from that success?
But, I mean, I've come up against a couple of Kill Tony style comedians, and I think, it's going to be something that the world of stand-up is going to wrestle with long after that phase is burned out, because there's a whole generation of comics that think like, well, I'm just going to get on stage and I'm going to say shocking stuff and people are going to go, ooh. It's like, no, you're supposed to get on stage and say funny stuff and get a ha-ha, and maybe plus, some of it will go...
Shocking wears off, and it will.
Shocking wears off, and it'll pass. I mean, just like we're seeing like crowd work stuff pass. It's like I think a whole generation of comics embraced it because they didn't want to post material, right? And it burned. They didn't want to burn out their material, and
where are you at with that, Joe? because
I mean,
you were the crowd work guy.
I mean, but that's
Yes.
the irony. Like I was a crowd work guy before
It was a thing.
it was like a big social media thing.
Yeah,
but
you were
even,
always. You were always.
I was
that.
always doing it.
You were always good
But
at creating.
I got
dealing
shit
with-
for it from other comics.
Did you think crowd work was holding you back? Like as far as like the industry, because I know a lot of crowd work comics prior to social media were like industry didn't want crowd work comedians, right? Because crowd work specials didn't work.
Well, because what's the point? Yeah, we were trying to package you into a sitcom or something.
Yeah, no,
so
I mean, I knew that whenever I was lucky enough to get on any kind of an industry showcase, yeah, I was doing my material. I was, and I was proud of my material. I think my material was good. But in terms of like live shows, it actually got me booked more frequently because, you know, like a place like Roosters or Tommy T's or some of the other quality one-nighters, they would say to other comics like, look, I can really only have you back once a year because your material doesn't change. But they knew with me, they could have me in 3, sometimes 4 times a year because, yeah, about 30 to 40% of my set was going to be completely different. And people would come. And then when I had that guy on stage, that heckler video, that got me over to China. I mean, it was the result of that video that I got booked over there.
So why, and I know hindsight, right? But why didn't you film? Why weren't you the first person to film after that video did what it did?
Yeah.
I asked myself that.
Yeah.
I'm like, why wasn't I recording?
I mean, there was a couple of other videos that, some other magical nights that I got recorded. And, you know, I think a couple of things, like one, videoing your set was still kind of complicated. The quality camera was still really expensive. Sitting down and using, you know, like your Apple built-in iMovie it took a little bit of time.
Yeah.
And like you said, I'm lazy too, you know, and I should have, in hindsight, I should have, you know, I mean, but I could have been. Yeah.
And let me just add to that. I agree you are lazy, but if I could also add, piggybacking on that, I'm going to make a bold statement. Joe and I were a part of, in many ways, the most clueless, poorly mentored generation of comedy, really.
It is true.
We were discouraged from being inventive in any way but with our material. You go up and you write and and I remember very specifically, you look up to the generation ahead of you. They're the ones getting the work, right? They're the ones on stage at the punchline while you're at the bar. Very specifically, it was the generation of Kevin Avery and Andrew Norelli just didn't listen to us. They had the insight to go, things shifted and people started to do what worked and started to look out for themselves and started to say, maybe I'll try this, even though everyone else isn't doing this. And Joe and I, we were discouraged from doing what now works.
I mean, sometimes when you're passed at a club, you know, I imagine with Punchline, you think, well, I'll just keep doing what I'm doing. It's sometimes that's a disservice. The people that get
told no, we did.
Yeah.
The people that get told no are like, all right, I gotta find another way to do it.
100%.
And then they do.
That's what they did. Yeah. I mean, people, you know, and I look back on that now and I was so judgmental, you know, but again, like when you're a big fish in a small pond and there was no social media, YouTube was just starting out. But yeah, I mean, I should have taken that as a wake-up call because I remember like suddenly that video, I can't remember, some website picked it up and my video went to like 1 million views in a week. And that should have been some kind of a way. Hey, I'm getting booked as a basis of this.
Hey, of something.
Like the beginning of something like, hey, the comedy world and the technology that is showing it shifted and maybe I could jump on that. But, but whatever.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough because you
Sorry,
get
we
the
always end up here. We always end up.
Well, this is like every comedy green room these days. It's just talking about what is the outlook of want right now, and why didn't this work a year ago, but it's not working now, or why didn't I do this earlier?
Yeah.
It's the same circle conversations we're all having.
Well, let me ask you this, like, because you said you want to create a new hour. Like, what does creating new content? I'm even calling it content. I hate myself for calling that. Like new material. Like what? How do you develop new jokes, new bits? Where are you going to do that? What's your process?
I mean, that's like this has been like the worst year for me for writing. I don't know if it's because of what's going on. I just feel like, most of my jokes are stories, things that happen in my life, and I'm just like not living, dude.
Damn.
So I'm like, do I need to go on like an eat, pray, love trip and like find some stuff? But I mean, yeah, it's trying to find material that's relatable, funny, not political, but not ignoring what's going on. That's like the
Good luck.
weirdest. Yeah, which is like,
Yeah.
yeah, because I don't want to, you get up there and you go like, oh, fuck Trump or fuck the liberals, whatever side you're on. That's like the one thing people don't want right now in a comedy audience. But at the same time, it's like, well, we got it, but we have to talk about something that's going on. So, I like right now I have a new bit on like doomsday preppers because they're funny, but it's also something we're all starting to be like, do I need to start prepping? So I like to dabble my foot in that way, or say something without being subtle about it, or whatever. But that's getting harder and harder. But as far as my process, I mean, it's just hiding the new stuff amongst the old stuff. Just no.
Well, what's your life like? What's your married,
boring.
Kids? Okay.
Single, very alone.
Okay, so let me just. I don't mean to shrink you.
Sure.
I don't mean to, however, what you said at the beginning, how did you start comedy, was when you broke up.
Yeah.
So a lot of times I'm remembering myself, you get to, a lot of comedians get to a place, you're kind of approaching middle age, and if your life's kind of in transition, then your comedy's also in transition.
Sure.
As opposed to, so what I'm saying is, you got to go get married.
I got to
and
get my
kids.
heart broken. Yeah.
Yes.
I don't want to do any of that.
Well, you don't have a choice. You got to get out there.
No, I'm not going to. I will fail comedy before I have a child.
You need to get. Okay, no, don't get. Or heartbreak is enough. You got to get. Or how about drugs? Have you dabbled in drugs?
Are you advocating the Torio should become an addict?
I should try some drugs.
Sure. Yeah. You don't have kids.
I don't have kids. I don't do drugs. I'm just a big, meaningless, pointless nerd.
Oh my God.
I'm the anti-therapist.
Yeah, this is not good, Dan. This is not.
I think a lot of therapists these days are like, drugs?
That's
suggesting mushrooms and ketamine is pretty popular these days.
I know.
You're on the right track.
Yeah.
I know. That shit's, by the way, I even considered it for a second. And
Did you really?
This person was saying to me, talking about the mushroom thing, and they were like, it just clears up all that ambivalence and sort of imposter syndrome and doubting yourself. The mushrooms go in and correct it. And I took a moment, and then I was like, no, I'm sober.
I did mushrooms. I've tried it a few times. I haven't had like a spiritual awakening of any kind. I've considered ayahuasca because people swear by it but it's always the people that do those one. And then I look at their life and I'm like, I don't know.
That's a really good point.
You know what I mean? Like when I ask like the happiest people what they do, it's always like eat healthy and exercise.
Ask them what they do.
And I'm like, well, I don't want to do that. So
the person that suggested it to me is a millennial.
Hey, I'm a millennial.
Polyamorous.
Oh boy.
Hey, that's cool.
What's wrong with that?
No, she was a certain type of millennial, that I'd like and respect, but you go, yeah, it's not quite the decisions I would make.
I would love to be able to take uphill and it give me some sort of momentary insight on, oh, this is how I have to be. But I think that's the seductive nature of it. It's not even addiction.
Yeah.
It's just like this idea of like, hey, you're just repackaging this idea because I see ads for mushrooms. I see, because it's legal in Oakland. So you'll be walking down the street and there's actual places that like, hey, come on in, buy mushrooms. And it's just like, that's in some way that's surreal to me that it's that legal, but it also feels like, it's so accessible now that if it was giving everyone these incredible transformative experiences, then Oakland would be an amazing place. And I'm sorry, Oakland, but I am not seeing that level of spiritual awareness take over the town.
Yeah, I think it's just there's a crash. Every peak has its valley, and that's what I've noticed. Like the couple times I've done mushrooms, where it's like, well, that was great, it felt great, but then tomorrow's just an awful day.
Then you got to go back to the real world. Yeah.
Okay, Torio.
let's
I know you got wheels up soon for you, so we got to wrap up on our final.
This is the
our
big
final
one.
question.
Here
We
comes
ask
Torio.
everyone. Torio, you, I like the intensity. This is the big
taking
one.
this serious.
Taking it seriously.
Take
this
it
is
in.
the big question.
You have grown your social media following. You started in the small community of Yosemite in a Thai food restaurant and have built a very successful career, which spanned into.
I don't know about very successful, but thank you.
Okay, now I'm going to go with it. Well, you headline, you work the punchline. I imagine you work Cobb's. You're now in LA. You got passed at the Comedy Store. The
Names on
Comedy
the wall,
Store.
baby.
Names on the wall.
In the parking lot.
No one can take that away from you. You created that from nothing. My question to you is,
yes,
do you feel successful?
Oh, yeah.
Whoa.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good for you. Good for you.
I do.
Good.
And I have nothing. I really do have so little, and I do feel successful because I, to use a quote from Joe Klosik, I made a career out of a coping strategy, and
a good one, Joe.
I grew up in a family that was funny, and I was the youngest, and I wasn't funny, and I needed to be as funny as them. So starting young, I wanted. And I feel like then they've all got stupid day jobs, and I look at them and I'm like, ugh.
Fuck yeah.
But also, can I borrow some money?
Yes.
And yeah, I mean, look, getting my name on the wall at the store was a huge deal. I mean, was the culmination of over a decade of work. Getting past at the Punchline was a huge deal. Getting to headline the Punchline was a huge deal. It still feels good to crush. All of my friends I met through comedy. And yeah, I would love to not have credit card debt, or I'm almost 40 and I still have student loan debt. That sucks. But yeah, I don't know. I look at people, I love my brother. He's got a great life. He's got money, kids, family. I get the appeal of that. It's just, but I don't personally get it, or envy it. And I guess if I'm not envious of that life, then I don't want it. So yeah, I guess for the stupid decision that I made, I am been somewhat successful at it. So
all right,
yes, that's beautiful.
Nice pitch.
Yeah, that makes
total
sense.
Don't do this.
Oh yeah, don't fucking do it. Let me say, just to add on to that, I have taken the more traditional, stable route. I don't regret anything. I'm here now talking to you guys. I'm happy. I'm a therapist. It works. It's fine.
Yeah.
But I will say nothing I've done in normal life has compared to getting that first phone call from Jeff Wills, which means you're passed at the Punchline. Nothing is because it's just
Your wife will be
looking-
thrilled to hear that, Dan.
yeah. Well, yeah, them, sure.
Right.
But it's true. It's true. There's not, because it's all, first of all, it means you're going to go on stage and it's
Yeah,
your dream,
yeah.
but it's something from nothing. It's something you create just from a coping strategy.
It
I wish
reminds,
I had enjoyed that
yeah,
part more.
it reminds me of that old showbiz story where a band is forced to land on a cold winter night, and they have to walk to the hotel, and as they're walking, the snow is filling up their shoes, and they're carrying their instruments, and they see this house in the distance, and they go up to the house and they look into the window and they see a Christmas tree and a fireplace and a family eating dinner together, and the band all looks at each other and goes, how can people live like that?
Mhm.
You know?
Fuck yes.
So yeah, there's an
Yes.
appeal, but yeah, there's also, hey, we're out there and we're still doing it.
Some people want to be in the green room. It's
So-
just,
Yeah.
and that's it's a minority. Torio, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks
Well,
for having me.
Here
love to
on the
have you back
Splain.
and
Would
and
love
talk
to have
more.
you back.
Yeah.
And I didn't get the chance to say, really enjoyed your comedy. Looking at YouTube and
Hey,
Facebook
thanks.
and everything,
I
really enjoyed your
appreciate that.
comedy. Yes.
Yeah,
Well, hey, it's always
love to have you back and just talk more about
Keep
the
it up.
comedy. But this
For
was
sure.
this was awesome.
This is what the world needs: more podcasts of comedians talking about comedy.
Exactly,
Comedy,
right?
yes.
Yeah.
It's the only way we
It's
can
the
heal
mass appeal.
as a nation.
As a nation.
All right.
Well done.
All right, I'll see you guys at
Like
the
and
UFC fight
subscribe. Yes, we'll see you there. Oh, for sure, bro.
Peace out.
Peace out.
later, guys.